Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our My20 ELD tower and app demo. We'll focus on the features and benefits of the My20 ELD and show you why thousands of truckers choose the My20 ELD as their fleet management solution. My name is Kristen. I'm the marketing director for My20 based out of our US headquarters in Knoxville, Tennessee. And our presenter today is Tom Clark. Tom is our Director of Product Development and Support, and he's based in our Atlanta, Georgia office. Tom, thank you for joining us today.
You bet. I'm excited to be here.
For those of you who are not familiar with our company, we are a US-based fleet management and telematics company with over 100 plus years of experience in the trucking industry. The Konexial brand of products offers My20 ELD, My20 Fleet Management, Go Fuel, which is our fuel discount program, GoMedRx, telemedicine, My20 locking system, which is a digital secure locking solution, and GoLoad, dynamic load matching. Each product or solution we have built with the driver in mind, and our team is constantly looking for ways to improve drivers' lives off and on the road. Today, we'll be demoing the My20 ELD and fleet management system. We have a lot of great information and cool new features to show you today, and we hope you'll leave this webinar understanding who we are as a company and the value My20 ELD can bring to your fleet. We're proud of the products and support we offer to the industry and hope you'll see for yourself that My20 is the partner and product you're looking for. We are recording today's webinar, so if you'd like to revisit the information, features, and benefits we go over today, you'll have the opportunity to do so with the recording from today's session. You can also reach out to our sales team to schedule a more personalized demo to meet your business needs. To respect everyone's time and busy schedules, we will be following this agenda. Today's webinar format will include a brief 20 to 30 minute overview of the My20 ELD app and tower dashboard, followed by a 5 to 10 minute Q&A session. If you have questions as we go throughout today's session, please type them into the Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom window. You should see two message icons with the letters Q&A. Type your questions there and we will answer them during our Q&A session after the demo. Thank you for joining us. Please go ahead and type your questions into the Q&A box. And Tom, let's get started. You can go ahead and set up your screen.
All right, we're going to start with the app. This is the My20 app this is on an iOS or Apple platform. It is designed for both Apple and Android, for both tablet and phone. This one that I'm demonstrating on right now is an Apple 10, but they will look the same with slight modification based on screen size, between the different platforms and tablet and phone models. And I'm showing right now is the time clock screen. This is what I call Command Central. It is what I would say is all the information that a driver needs while they're driving in the length of their thumb. We've just recently gone through a refactoring where all of the numbers are much bigger, so that you can see them from the back of your cab. If you're in a split sleeper environment and need to know how much time you've got, you'll be able to see that on this screen without any problem. We're going to start in the first thing to do is how to connect to the ELD. Our system is designed, the ELD is about the size of a quarter. In terms of form fit, it plugs into the ECM port of your truck. It is default for a 9-pin connection. We have 6-pin and OBD2 adapter cables that are available, but standard is 9-pin on the version 2 device. And then we also have a version 5 device that is a cellular standalone device that actually plugs in to a 16-pin OBD2 connection. Once it's plugged in and it acquires a GPS signal, it will send information from the truck's engine anytime the engine is on, and especially when it's on and driving. It sends out one signal per minute. That signal comes from the device through a Bluetooth connection to the phone or tablet, where it updates the logs and then it's sent to the tower. If for any reason the Bluetooth connection is broken, the device will store up to 30 days worth of logs. And if the cellular connection is broken and the Bluetooth is still operating, we use what's called edge computing, where our app will function normally without cellular connection. The only thing that will not be updated is any information that's in the tower. So your driver on his app will be 100% compliant and current with all of his transactions. So in order to connect to the ELD, there's two spots in the app where to do that. The first one is on the time clock screen. In the lower center, you'll see a gray circle with a little push pin. I'm going to select that. Now I'm in an office, so we may or may not be able to connect to the vehicle I've got outside. But the first thing it does is it goes through a scanning process, and then it says, these are the devices that are within range for this carrier. And we have a security system, which is called a whitelist, that only authorized drivers for that carrier can connect to registered trucks for that carrier. So if I were in a big yard and I had 30 different trucks, I would be presented with a listing of all of those trucks that are within Bluetooth range and no one is connected. Once you're connected, you're the only one that connect to that. If I go to a truck stop and the truck right next to me is a My20 customer, they're on a different whitelist with a different carrier. So if I scanned, I would not see their truck. And if they scanned, they would not see my truck. So I'm presented with this list of devices that I can connect to. And right now, it's only truck 357. I'm going to select that. It goes through a connecting process. And then I'm going to stand a little bit closer to the window and hopefully we'll be able to connect. But babe, once it's connected, you'll see the word connected instead of connecting. And does not look like it's gonna do that for me. Once I'm connected, and I'm gonna go ahead and select the button and stop the process. Once I'm connected, then I'll be getting live information from the truck. All right, there's another place in the app, which I'll show you how you can connect, but with that gray circle, and once you're connected, it will change to orange. Once you're connected, you can manually disconnect by selecting it again and then manually reconnect. The way our system works is if you were to leave your truck and not manually disconnect and go to the restroom or into a truck stop restaurant, if the signal is broken, it would be reacquired automatically with the app unless you've manually disconnected. Once it acquires it again, you're connected, you're good to go. All right, the next thing I want to share with you is how to change your status. Again, there's two places you can do it. And I'm going to show you the first one is right now it says off duty in the center of the screen and 2 hours, 57 minutes. That means that this driver, which is a demo driver, has been in off duty for the last 2 hours. If I were, and now with the new changes, if I change my status and I can select that off duty, it gives me the opportunity of changing non-driving statuses. I can change from off duty to sleeper berth or on duty. If I were connected and I started driving at 5 miles per hour, my status would automatically change. I'm going to go ahead and change to on duty, but before that, I want to go ahead and I want to put a note in there. So to the right, you'll see a downward arrow. I'm going to go ahead and select that, and then I have these pre-selected notes that I can put in, or I can select other. When I select other, I can either key it in, or I'm going to say, go ahead and use the microphone. Load delivery. Well, that's interesting. It says low delivery. Let's try that again. I'm going to enunciate. load delivery. All right, so you can use the microphone. You do have to enunciate. And then once you do, I'm going to go ahead and say save. Now my duty status has changed to on duty. The clock continues to count up because it's a part of that, on duty is no longer penalizing toward your driving time. So next thing I want to show you is the log screen. Well, before we leave this screen, I want to just kind of give you a full tour of the screen. It's got all your clocks. It has a HOS clock in the upper right. So in this case, this driver has 6 hours, 33 minutes remaining in driving, or HOS. Down below that, you'll see driving. He has 6 hours, 32 minutes of driving, which right now they're synchronized because his on duty and driving time has gone beyond the 3 hours. And then today he's driven 120 miles, and there's a couple of shortcuts. If I press and hold on the gray circle, it takes me to the ELD status. That shows me all the information about the user, the truck that they're connected to, the latitude and longitude where he's at. In this case, I'm not connected, so a lot of these fields aren't populated. And then it tells you about the truck, the firmware on the ELD device, the app version of the app on the phone, and then what type phone it is. I can, if I needed some help, I can send email to support. I select that. It creates an email to our support team with a screenshot of that information, and they'll be able to look at it. I'm going to just say test. I'm going to hit send, and now that'll be sent to our support team, and they'll analyze it. They'll see what's going on, and a lot of times they'll be able to actually solve the problem before they actually talk to the driver. That no ELD is also a messaging center where it will send you messages in terms of your hours. If you're getting toward a violation, it'll let you know. We also have an audio and visual alarm system that notifies the driver when they're approaching a violation, and they can set the parameters of that notification at an hour, 45, 30, or 15 minutes before the violation. If I select or press and hold on the word today where the miles are, it'll actually take me to my trips area. It'll show logs, which is all the transactions for the day. It'll show my trip. So far this driver has been on trip 1, 5 hours, 49 minutes, and he's driven 120 miles. It'll show trailer. It'll show pre and post DVIR, and any documents that are associated with this trip. The next I want to show you within trips on the DVIR. I'm going to go ahead and close out this trip by doing a post-trip DVIR. I'm going to go ahead and select the compass rose, and it'll do a reverse geocode of where I am. If I were connected, the odometer would be populated. I'm going to go to vehicle, and then it shows me my truck and my trailer, and then I can add or remove defects as required. In this case, I've got a fuel filler cap missing, and then also I've got an issue with my steering, that my pitman arm is not functioning. I save that. Those two defects appear on my log as well as on in the tower, and then I don't have any defects on the trailer. I'm going to go ahead and sign my DVIR to close that out. Now it goes to a charcoal color instead of the orange, and I am ready to sign for the day. So I'm going to go ahead and certify my logs for today, sign it and save it. And then it's going to create a PDF of my rods report. It'll have driver information, carrier information, my rods graph for the day, and number of miles on total miles, and then all of my transactions, any notes, trip information, cycle information, and then my signature. At this point, I want to go ahead and I want to do an FMCSA upload. So I'm going to go to the word send in the upper right-hand corner. I go to FMCSA upload. It goes and it selects today plus the last 7. And then all I have to do is type in the FMCSA output file identifier, case number, badge number, whatever the officer gives you in order to submit your records. Once you submit it, in this case, it failed, so I need to call support and figure out why. But normally, if it'll just give you a successful upload. At that point, you'll tell the officer that it's ready to go. All right. One last thing that I wanted to share with you on the time clock screen is exceptions. There's 2 different places. Whenever you change your status, in this case, I'm not going to change my status, but I'm going to activate an exception. So I select exception, and then it gives the list of the exceptions that are available. Personal conveyance, yard move, short haul, agriculture, oil field, oversized, overweight, and adverse conditions. For both the short haul and agriculture exemptions, I'm going to go ahead and activate agriculture. We use a geofence of 150 air miles. And it gives the driver the option of either selecting their current position as the point of origin of the agricultural commodity, or, and in this case, I'm going to go ahead and select no. I'm going to do it manually, and then I can enter in I'm going to just say Newberry, South Carolina. I can enter in an exact address, and what that does is it gives you the ability to capitalize. See it. Once I entered that, it adjusted the radius of that geofence, and it allows you to take advantage of both the inbound and the outbound leg. I'm going to say, use this location. Agriculture is activated, and now it shows ag as being activated. Once I start driving, depending on where I am, and I'm going to go to the drive tab and show you on the map, here's my radius. So the green push pin is me, and the orange push pin is my origin. So it'll track, and I'll show exactly where I am. So if you get stopped, you can say, hey, I'm on ag exemption. Here's my radius. Here's where I am. So excellent opportunity for anybody hauling ag. You don't have to worry about guessing where you are. You don't have to change your status to PC and do annotations. Everything is done automatically. When you cross the boundary going in, your status will change from driving to off-duty ag. And then while you're in the radius, in the circle, your duty status, your driving clocks will all freeze. And basically, you can operate within that circle. As soon as you go outside of the radius, then your status will change from off-duty ag to driving, and your duty and driving clocks will start back going. All right, but that's how you activate it. If I wanted to deactivate it, I'd go back to the time clock screen, or I can come up to the log screen under current status in the upper left-hand corner. I can go back to exception. I hit the toggle, it's turned off. Now it's deactivated, and now my status is just on duty. There's no exception that's been activated. All right, the last thing I want to show you, and we look briefly at the map. Right now, my radius is gone because I've deactivated it. We have points of interest. We've got fuel, parking, scales, rest stops, restaurants, and truck dealerships for maintenance. One I wanted to show you was this orange GF. That is our Go Fuel fuel discount program. Any of these, I'm going to just select this one right here. It'll show you what what the store is. This is a Love's Travel Shop. The store number, where it's located, what the retail price is, what the Go Fuel price is, and what the savings is. So in this case, for this retail location, you can save 21.9 cents a gallon at the pump. If you want to know how to get there, you select the little icon in the lower left hand. You confirm that you are a truck. You say yes, and then it'll give you the commercial routing to get there. When I say start navigation, it starts me. It'll give me audio turn by turn, as well as written turn notification. It'll track my speed compared to the posted speed limit, and it'll also give me an ETA in terms of time and distance. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cancel that, and then we're going to go back to the log screen. This is the log screen. It shows not only today's activity with the 4 clocks, it's also got the graph I can select for the day, and then also the previous days. And so it'll show each of the different days as I'm using the app. Shows my recap, and so I just started a restart of my cycle at 1:55 today. All right, that's it for the My20 app. Let's go now to the tower. So we're going to go and switch our screen. This is the My20 tower. It's using the internet. I am logged in as a demo admin for a carrier. This carrier is a 25 truck carrier. Right now on the driver's screen, which is the first screen that you'll see, there is right now there's 20 trucks that are on the map that have been on the app in the last 3 days. If I expand that, it shows I've got 12 trucks or drivers driving. I've got 1 in sleeper, and I've got 7 in off duty. All right. On the map itself, it shows each of the different drivers. I'm going to go ahead and collapse that. If it's an orange circle with a white steering wheel, that's a driver. If it is a colored circle with a number, that represents a concentration of drivers. So I'm going to zoom in, and you'll see that 2 on the circle just split into 2 separate drivers. I can select a driver, and it'll tell me who that driver is, what their status is, what their location is in terms of address, as well as GPS coordinates. If I wanted to get into the detail about either this driver or a different driver, I can either go in and look at the individual listing here, or I can go in and just select this icon right here. So I'm going to look, and actually let's look at one. Let's look at this driver right here. He's currently driving. And so this gets into the detail of that driver. It shows a timeline for the day. In this case, today, I can go in and I can look at previous days if I wanted to by the calendar, or I can come in and actually use the arrows and back up, each one day at a time. All right, we're going to go back to today, and this shows this carrier is set to where they show the rods graph first. So it shows today's graph, how many hours they've been in each of the statuses. If I show recap, this will show previous 7 days and where they stand. I'm going to collapse that. This shows the same 4 clocks that the user has in the app. And in fact, this actually comes from the app. It was last updated at 2:25. So this is current information. If for any reason cell phone coverage was lost, then the last status would continue and would show a different time. So you'd know, okay, he hadn't updated recently, and so this is not current. But it shows the graph. It shows each of the transactions. It shows a driving. It shows the status, the start time, the duration, and miles if it's driving, and then city, county, and state where they started driving. In addition to that, we have a map that has what's called a breadcrumb trail. And with this, you can actually trace throughout the day. I'm going to just move it. It's very sensitive, but you can trace through the day where they were at specific times in history. It'll show time, velocity, the GPS coordinates, and then their driving status. If you want to see the exact address, you select that and it'll do a reverse geocode on those coordinates. But you can follow it throughout the day, and so it gives you a historical, picture view on the map of where they went, where they were at specific times. Also, it shows exceptions. So right now he does not have anything activated, but it shows that he has used personal conveyance in the last few days. All right. In addition to that, we have the live view. So in this case, this driver is an off duty. So we're not going to look at him because it's not going to show us anything. But I want to go ahead and let's look at this driver here. This is the live view. So it'll actually show you on the map live where they are. Shows velocity, odometer, RPM, altitude, location. You can zoom out if you want, get a better view, and you can also go to full screen on the map, so you can see exactly where they are and what they're doing. All right, I'm going to collapse that. In addition to that, FMCSA upload. Well, I'm sorry. Let's look at daily log. You have the ability of generating the RODS PDF for each individual day, or you can do it by date range up to 30 days at a time. Once you create it, you can download it and have it available for your files as appropriate. Same information as before, where it's got the information on the driver, carrier, today, the transactions, distance for today, trip, cycle, and then once it's signed, it'll show his signature. In addition to that, this is where you would upload for a audit to the FMCSA. You can select your date range, enter in your comment as far as your badge number or output file identifier, upload it, and then it's available in their system, and you're good to go. That's the individual driver information. Next, I want to talk briefly about unidentified driving records. This is a very big deal in the world of the FMCSA. If this driver here, Michael Brown, he uploaded records from the 13th to the 19th. Any unidentified driving records that have not been assigned and accepted or annotated would be visible for that entire carrier. So in this case, he's got a 25 truck carrier, one driver, one roadside inspection, 8 days, today plus 7, any unassigned, unidentified driving records, or assigned and accepted, because it's not just assigning, it's actually accepting by the driver and updating those records. All right, there's 2 ways to look at it in the tower. One is up in the upper right where you have your sign in. You can either select that, or we're going to go over to reports, and we're going to see if it'll cooperate here. Go to reports, unidentified ELD logs, and this is all of the outstanding unidentified driving records that this carrier has. So we've got the date, we've got the user that actually sent it to the carrier. All of these are waiting for assignment. All right, all of these are non-driving, so they're not going to impact somebody's log, but they need to be taken care of and managed. So what the admin would do is he can either individually select them, or he can select all of them, deselect all of them. I'm going to just select one, and then he can either assign it, he or she, by selecting the driver, and this is the list of their drivers. All right, I'm going to just select this driver, and then you'd say assign, and then it would be sent to that driver for his approval and updating his logs, or you can annotate. So in this case, I'm going to select annotation, and I'm going to just type in maintenance, if I can spell it, and then create annotation. Once it's annotated, this filter, right now we're filtering to show only non-annotated ones. So if it's annotated, it basically goes away, and you just have the ones that you need to manage. All right. So very, very big deal. You can do a filter by status, either waiting for assignment, waiting for approval, driver rejected, or none for all, or you can sort it by driver. So if I, again, it's the list of the drivers, and I'm going to say, let's go with this driver, and I say search, and it'll only show me those logs that have been sent from that driver to the carrier. And in this case, it's all coming from the same truck. Assigned carrier, truck has a carrier has assigned trucks. So this would actually go back to that driver, and they would need to accept it unless it's a maintenance type issue. But all of these are non-driving, so they're probably like a maintenance run up or a movement around the yard less than 5 miles per hour. But this is very, very, very important for the admin to manage these and make sure that the drivers are aware when you get them. And basically, it's anytime that the driver is disconnected from the ELD, it'll create an unidentified driving record that they'll need to review and either accept if it's theirs or send it back to the carrier. All right, last thing I want to show you, we've got several different reports. I want to show you under fuel, we have a complete IFTA reporting functionality. First is fuel receipts, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to change my sign in because I want to show you a different carrier that's got a little bit more there on the. I'm going to go here. I'm going to look at. Let's see here. This carrier for third quarter, and this is all of their receipts that they've entered in. All right, and receipts can either be entered in one at a time using the plus center or plus symbol icon by entering in all their information. I'm a super admin, so if you're an admin, your carrier would be pre-populated along with a list of your trucks. You can enter it in, individually, or we have the ability. Let's see here. Or we have the ability of importing a CSV file. If you have a fuel card provider, if you can get a CSV file of your purchases, you can groom it to where it's in the format that we need and upload an entire quarter's worth of receipts at one time into the tower. Once they're uploaded, then we're going to go to the IFTA fleet report. And basically what this is, and let me see here, change my carrier again. This is a combination of both the miles per state that are generated by the ELD for each of the trucks and the fuel that's been purchased. All right, this is fourth quarter, so we want to go to third. They had miles but no fuel bought. So in this case, here's their miles, shows a percentage by state, diesel fuel type. It shows fuel used, and the way this is calculated is based on the total distance for the quarter, the total fuel bought, comes up with an average fleet economy, miles per gallon. And then mathematically, you basically divide the miles by the miles per gallon, and that gives you the fuel used for the IFTA calculation. Fuel bought is a result of the receipts and where you bought. And then the fuel variance is the difference between the two. Whenever there's a positive number, that means you used more fuel and drove more miles than you paid fuel tax for. So there's an additional tax. So in this case, in the state of Arkansas, at 28 cents per gallon, 32.76, there's a $9.34 tax due to the state of Arkansas. As you look down, Iowa, they bought more than they used, so there's a negative. So there's a credit. Here's Illinois, and I believe this is an Illinois-based carrier. They bought 340 gallons more than they used at 61 cents, which they paid for, prepaid in the at the purchase. They're due a $208 refund for that for the state of Illinois. So it goes down each of the different states. If it's a state that has a surcharge, those are also calculated. In this case, this looks like this carrier doesn't owe any taxes. I think there may be an issue there because, but it should total add up and show a whether there's taxes due or not. So you can take this information, download it, and use that information to complete your state IFTA form and not have to pay a bookkeeper, accountant, or anybody else to do it. All right, Kristen, that's about it as far as a tour of both the My20 app and the My20 tower. Why don't we turn it back to you?
Sure. Thanks, Tom. That was great. We do have just a couple of questions to wrap up today's session. The first one is, how does the ELD actually connect to the truck, and will I need an adapter?
The ELD connects to the ECM port, which is the engine computer port, and it depends as far as the adapter. You would have to look, that varies from truck to truck. Most of the light and medium duty trucks for like hot shots, those are probably the OBD2 16-pin connection, so you would need an adapter there. Although a lot of the newer trucks, I believe, are going to the 16-pin as well. If you have a 9-pin connection on your ECM port, then you would not need an adapter. It will plug directly into it, and it's very easy to put in, probably in about 10 seconds. The center pin is almost like a key where it's got a little tooth. You line the tooth up into the center slot of the ECM port. Once it's seated, you push it in, you turn the locking ring about a 1/16 of a turn, and it locks into place, and it will not come out unless you turn it left 1/16 of a turn, and then slowly work the ELD out of the port.
Great. All righty. The next question is, how does your subscription plan work, and does every driver need a subscription?
Excellent question. We sell the hardware, which is the device. So it's one device per truck. And then we offer subscriptions for every driver. You'll have an admin account that is included in your purchase so that you have access to your driver or drivers. But we have a subscription service per driver, as we're maintaining each driver's records and we're providing each driver support. We have several different options in terms of subscriptions, either annual, 2-year, or 3-year subscription plans.
Okay, thank you. What types of devices do you recommend for your software?
Well, there's, with Android, you've got Android and iOS or Apple. We definitely recommend Apple over Android. They may cost a little bit more in terms of the purchase, but they're much more durable and will last much more longer than the Androids. So we recommend the iPad. Apple iPad over the iPhone just because of the visibility factor for the driver. It's going to be mounted, within reach of the driver, but you want to give them as much visibility as possible. The iPad has fingerprint recognition, so it's very easy to log in and log out of the app and the tablet. On the Android side, we recommend Samsung is probably the most popular brand and the one that we have the least problems with, either a phone or the Tab A or Tab E tablets for the Android.
Wonderful. Okay, so I think that is all of our questions for today. So if no one else has any more questions, I'm going to share my screen here. Thank you all for joining us today. If you have any questions or would like to speak to a product specialist in more detail, please give us a call or email us at the phone number and email listed on the screen. Tom, thank you so much for your time today and your expertise. We really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.